Okay. I believe I'm live on YouTube. Let's see if I can get live on Facebook. Okay. Well, hello. My name is Teresa Micheletti, and this site is called Take What Rings True. Today, I would like to talk about the Temple of Spirit Guides. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't always talk to my spirit guides. In fact, I had a past life where I was in deep despair and my spirit guides wouldn't help me because I told them not to help me when I wrote my chart. So I didn't talk to them. And I still have that hesitancy to talk to them. I'll talk to angels, but I don't always talk to my spirit guide. Now, I have a communicating guide, and so do you. And you may have other spirit guides, but they have to talk through the communicating guide. And I notice my Facebook is hesitating. So I'll probably end up putting the YouTube video on Facebook later. So if you can't hear me, you can't see me on Facebook, just know I'll post the YouTube video. So have you ever wanted to ask your spirit guide a question or find out about something that happened to you? Why did it happen? Or ask about something that's happening in your life, then you can ask your spirit guide. Now, remember, they speak telepathically. 99.9% of the time, everybody on the other side speaks telepathically, unless you're in a big group, and then you might speak out loud. And of course, if you're giving a lecture, otherwise, you speak telepathically. You just know what people are thinking. It's mind to mind communication. So, the Temple of Spirit Guides is on the other side, heaven, and it's plain gray marble. So it's a very simple temple. Well, except that it does have golden doors and golden pillars, but otherwise it's very plain. So you go into the golden doors, and beyond it, you see something that looks like a movie theater. It's set seats and it has a podium, and you can see um, people moving around. You can see usually men are dressed in toga like outfits, like Roman togas, and women are in flowy chiffon clothing. Now, not everyone, you can decide what you want to wear on the other side, but they want to be comfortable. So they tend to wear non restrictive clothing. So you enter this hall, there's seats in front of you, but along the edge, there are rooms, and they're sort of iridescent. They're called compatibility rooms. And before you came into life, you met with people who might be your spirit guide, and probably council, a member of the Council of Elders, would probably have been with you to help you figure out who would be the best fit for your spirit guide in this lifetime, because you have different goals in each lifetime. So, what would fit in this life? Maybe you're always serious. So, they want to have someone who would give you some laughter and someone who would just instill joy in you. And remember, spirit guides speak telepathically, and that's how they speak to us when we're in life. They will give you thoughts and ideas to help you along your way. So, say you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you decide, "Oh, I want to go to this store I haven't been to in like 5 years." Suddenly you want to go there. That isn't where you plan to go, but maybe you're going to the grocery store and you decide to go to this five and dime kind of place. Okay. You get there and you see someone you haven't seen in 10 years. That's your guide guiding you to connect with that person. Maybe you just needed to have some fun and relive old times, or maybe you needed to connect with them, get some information, or to find out something. Or maybe they did. They needed to talk to you. So that's one thing that spirit guides do, is they give you infusion. And it's telepathic thoughts that we usually think are, oh, we're so wonderful, we're so smart, we, thought of that. But often it's your spirit guide or God that's giving you that information. So you spend years in our time planning your lifetime. Usually you plan a set, like 5 lifetimes or 10 lifetimes at once. So you're the mom in this life, you're the daughter in the next life, you're the sister, whatever it is, and you figure out the different roles in different lifetimes. Okay, so you have your theme for this life that you experience things through. Mine is responsibility and humanitarian. So my goal is, don't be responsible for everyone and everything. That's what Sylvia Brown told me, that I tend to do that. So let other people do stuff too. Anyway, you may be a caretaker in this life. That may be your theme. Or you may be, I don't know, whatever else. You may have the theme of rejection. You may have the theme of irritant. You may have the theme of, as I said, responsibility, humanitarian. There's like 44 themes, I think. So you need to decide when you're in the temple of spirit guides, which spirit guide would be the best for you in this lifetime. So you did that. Now, if you go to visit the temple of spirit guides, you can meet with your assigned or agreed to spirit guide and ask them questions. You don't have to just go to the temple of spirit guides to access them face to face, but it's a wonderful place to go to. So your guide agreed to help you in this lifetime. And it's sort of like, I always think of GPS on your car. You have these big X's, like, I'm going to move to Minneapolis, and then I'm going to meet Susie, and then we're going to combine and have a partnership and start a business. So those are the big X's on your life chart, and your guide guides you so that you are on your, what they call blue line. That's where you decided to be. This is the main events. Now you may go off your blue line. You may have, instead of going to Minneapolis, you may have gone to Kansas City first. That's fine. Then you'll be redirected back to going to Minneapolis, because there's other people who agreed to interact with you on the big lessons in life, and you need to be there in the same place at the same time for those experiences to occur. So you agreed to come into life, and this is your communicating spirit guide. You may have other guides who also help you, but they have to communicate through the spirit guide, who's your communicating guide, your main guide. That way you don't have 3 spirit guides trying to talk to you at once. One spirit guide communicates with you. So they spend lots of time learning your chart, backwards, forwards, so they know what to expect and they know what you want. If they have a question while you're in life about what's going on, because outside influences, what's going on in the world can also affect you, there are classes available to them to help keep you on your path. There's also counselors who will help them, and the Council of Elders will help them. And if you're having a horrific time in a life, they may ask that it be eased. They may go to council and say, hey, this is not what they signed up for. Can you please help ease this situation? So, Council of Elders, you can appeal to them. You can ask your guide to appeal to them. But remember, you may have written in, like my life of despair, do not interfere with this lesson. Set in concrete, not to be changed. So some lessons are set in concrete, but you can still find out about it. Like, why am I going through this? And nothing I do will change it. Maybe it's an illness. Maybe you have a court case you want to know about. Maybe you have a custody battle. You have an IRS problem. You can communicate with your spirit guide and find out, how do you get out of this problem? And they will give you advice. Your guide can show you your chart, and you can see the blue line where you're on track. And you can say, oh, I went off track a little bit here. Oh, I went off track a little bit there. And you can see your chart and the experiences all the way up to where you are in your present time. They're not going to show you all your future because you have choices. You have more than one probability of things that you can choose to do. So they're not going to show you everything. Otherwise, why did you even come into life? You already know it's going to happen. You just sit back and wait for it to happen. So it's almost like, when you look at your chart, it's almost like memories float up and you can easily pinpoint, okay, there's that problem with this custody battle. And I had it like 3 months ago and it's coming back to me. So what do I need to do to get out of this problem? So it's wonderful to talk to your spirit guide because they can help you. So you can visit the Temple of Spirit Guides and have them give you advice. So you can see if you're on track. You can see where you got off track. If you're trying to remember something, you can go to this temple and have that memory float up to you. So remember, guides give you advice and infusion. It's telepathic. You just know what they're thinking. So amazingly, when you look at your chart and you see, I wrote that experience in, I wrote that yucky experience in, or that wonderful experience in, and you realize it's not God's fault. It's not life picking on me. I wrote it in. It's in your chart. I want to experience this hard lesson. I want to experience this other hard lesson. Well, the reason you did that is you want to perfect, you want to evolve your soul to a higher level. And we were created to experience for God, God the Father. So you signed up for hard extra credit lessons to perfect your soul and share those experiences with God. You love God so much that you want to share lots of aspects of life with him so that he understands the experience. So he knows all, but he has not experienced all. Now, your spirit guide is your cheerleader in life as well as your GPS. And they can bilocate. They can be at a lecture on the other side and also be with you at the same time, two places at once. There's an old television show, Superman, where he bilocates. So now you do not need to know your spirit guide's name. My friend Sylvia Brown's spirit guide was named Aina, but she called her Francine. It doesn't matter. Besides, you've come into many lifetimes and you had different names each lifetime. Your spirit guide knows who you are. As long as you talk to them, communicate with them, they're quite happy, no matter what you call them. I know I'm a intuitive medical person. I can look into people's bodies and see the different layers of what's going on and energetically move out energy that's affecting you negatively. So my spirit psychic surgeon, I can't even remember his name half the time. I call him Doc. So he's okay with that. I can call him Doc and he's fine. And he communicates with me telepathically. So if your chart is too much or not going as planned, your spirit guide can petition Council of Elders or Asna, the mother goddess. There's two gods, mother god and father god. God is a duality, which most things are dualities. And you can petition, your spirit guide can petition to soften your experience or to change your chart, especially if things get veered off. Because so many things are in sort of chaos right now on Earth, then they might petition for something to be changed because you're not getting the experience you wanted, and you're getting veered off track because of what's happening in the world. So they may petition for your chart to be changed. Now, you always have lateral movement. We've talked about this before. You have an X on your chart. You're going to buy a house. Okay, you could have the shack on the alley. You could have the cabin in the woods. You can have the big house on the hill overlooking the river. You could have the small little cottage. That's still having a house. So there's many probabilities and many ways to fulfill your chart, which is why they're not going to show you what's happening in the future, because you have choices, many, many choices, and it tweaks what's happening in your life. So your angel does not memorize your chart. You have your personal angel, who's mostly a protector and a healer. And 99.99% of the time, angels only protect and heal. They will, however, help to keep you on your path. So angels are the ones who will say you decide you want to experience something, and angels will help put that in place. So they'll arrange for that experience in your chart. Say you want to have a court case. You want to have some kind of experience being in court. And the person, your opponent, let's say, is lying and creating false documents. You can petition angels, especially your personal angel, but I would go to an archangel and be specific and give permission for what you want them to do. If that was the case of lying and false documents, I would ask the archangel to make it evident that they're lying and make it evident these documents are false. So they would arrange for that to happen. So be specific when you ask for help with your spirit guide. Be specific when you ask for help from angels. And you need to give permission to have either one of them interact with your chart, because otherwise it's you making the decisions. So you need to tell them if you want help and be specific. Don't just say, help me, help you get a hot dog, help you get a new car, help you what? Now, have you given your guide permission to read your thoughts? You can give your guide permission to read your thoughts this entire lifetime. If you just say, you can read my thoughts, it's only going to be for today. But if you give them permission for your whole lifetime, then they know whether you want a hot dog or a car. And it makes it a little easier. Otherwise, you have to whisper, because they can hear whispers, or talk aloud to explain what help you want in this life. So give permission. If God wants something to happen, he could have an angel in a human life, or God the Father created everything. Usually, angels never incarnate. On the other hand, I know of an angel who's incarnated and has a human life for a purpose, a higher mission that God has. God could have a planet be a human. God could have a star being a human. There are reasons God could have those kind of energies to help in life. I know at this time when we're creating the beginning, the void, the fifth dimension, then more different energies are needed right now to create this new dimension and to create this new experience that people are going to step into. Now, your soul may have decided to stay in 3D and experience, and that's fine. But many of us, especially if you're listening to me, you're probably going to be going to the fifth dimension. So things are new. There's beginning angels. It's all a new experience. This has never happened on Earth before. So God the Father may have asked for different entities, planets or stars or angels, to come into life to help in some way, to have that kind of energy to help shift what's going on. So when you sit in this temple with your spirit guide, you can go now through astral projection. You can go by meditating there. You can go when you're asleep. Tell your spirit guides you would like to be escorted to the temple of spirit guides and you want to find out about how to deal with this court case, in which case you could wake up with the answer to the problem or ask to remember. And then you might remember being in the temple of spirit guides and getting your answer. And the other way is to get there is through self-hypnosis or guided hypnosis. So I can help you do that, guided hypnosis, if you want to do that. And remember, it may take more than a few attempts to get there. So just keep on trying. So your spirit guide, you can meet with your spirit guide in one of those private rooms. So at the edge of the temple are these rooms that look like bubble almost, and they change colors. And when you're in there, there's like a hum, like a white noise, a soothing white noise. You may smell the scent of lilac. You just feel wonderful. You feel supported. You feel like someone's listening to you. They're holding space for you. And it's kind of nice to be able to talk to your spirit guide and say, hey, this is the issue right now. What can I do about it? And they will help you. So when you get back to the earth plane, you may know what to do. So your spirit guide is to your right. So if you see a movement and there's nothing there, it's your spirit guide. They're like a sentinel. They're always there. And they can bilocate, so they can be doing something else on the other side. They could be going to a concert, and then they're still with you. So just know they do not leave you. Your personal angel and your spirit guide do not leave you. If for some reason they decided they wanted to go to Andromeda for a while, then you have other spirit guides. There's always a spirit guide with you. And then they would change who's communicating with you. And that's fine too. I remember my friend Sylvie Brown had Francine, but also Rahim would come into trance classes and teach us stuff. And both of them worked very closely with Sylvia. So you have your main communicating guide, and you may have other guides and other angels besides your personal angel who help you in this lifetime according to what's going on with you. So if you're having a court case, you may call on a lawyer that is from the other side, a lawyer from the other side who is adept at working with custody battles, adept at working with whatever it is that your court case is. So ask for them. I've asked for a spirit guide to come. Actually, I asked for my uncle. I was going to ride horses with my brother, and I hadn't ridden in like 15 years at least. We were going to be going up a mountain and down. Anyway, I've told this story before, I think. So I said, okay, Uncle Buzz, I want you to be with me, because he was a champion team roper. So he knew how to ride a horse. And we used to go to the rodeo, and he'd bring us horses, and we'd ride the horses when I was little. But I hadn't ridden in years. I don't want to be, like, okay, my sister can't even ride a horse anymore. So I was very good at riding horses. And when we got to the top of the mountain, we stopped for a while. He said, most people that I take on this trip need to stop and rest, figure out what they're doing with the reins. It's like, well, I didn't tell him that I called on Buzz, but you can call on spirit guides to help you. You can get an extra spirit guide. Maybe you're going to take the real estate exam and you're hesitant about it. Ask for a master real estate person to come and be with you. Whatever it is, I know I've told this story. My friend Rita wanted to be more feminine. She just was feeling like she wasn't being feminine. So she asked for Marilyn Monroe to come with her. So she's standing in a parking lot with those vents, that come up. So she's standing there, and all of a sudden her skirt goes up, like the famous scene in, I don't know what movie it is, old movie, where Marilyn Monroe's skirt goes up. So call on spirit guides. Visit the Temple of Spirit Guides. It's a wonderful place to visit. You feel so supported, and you feel like you can do something and find out something about your chart. So consider visiting the Temple of Spirit Guides. I recommend it. And let me know how it goes when you get there. So thanks for being with me. If you're on Facebook, I will repost this from YouTube, because I believe the YouTube video probably worked and the Facebook was wonky. So I'll see you next Wednesday when I talk about a different temple or hall on the other side. Thanks. Bye.